Hello, everyone. Hello. Uh, I've been thinking about commitment, and I think that it is something that we all need to be thinking about. And I've been thinking about, what am I committed to? What commitments are uh, best for me and for my loved ones, and what commitments might I need to change, things that I'm committed to that are no longer working for me or for my loved ones. And also in this case, and at this time in our community, in our beautiful and sacred world, this beautiful jewel that we've been given to care for, and to protect one another and to care for one another and to have that commitment to doing that, to protect and to care for ourselves, um, and for one another, and for this place. And it's really interesting. I was thinking about this talk today, and I had one of my mentees in a session today brought up this Goethe piece and around commitment. And I was thinking about the marches and the and about social justice and about walking, the walk. And there is this beautiful prayer. I always like to begin and open with a prayer. But this is by a Micmac woman, Alicia Longriver. And this was written in 1995. But she was a participant in the Sunbow Five Walk, which was a small coalition of people, of Native American people. They walked from Cape Cod, Massachusetts to California on a journey that covered more than 3,000 miles, and took more than 7 months to complete. More than 7 months to complete. And Miss Long River states, in 1995, I walked with a group across the US, speaking to other groups and praying all the way, 15 million steps for the healing of people and the earth. For the healing of people and the earth. I prayed, asking Creator to bring. But after the walk, realized we already have these things. It is a matter of opening our hearts to the gifts within. And so this prayer is by Alicia Longriver. This is Creator, 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 Great Spirit, Creator, God, Great Mystery. Open our hearts to peace and healing between all people. Creator, open our hearts to provide and protect for all the children of the earth. Creator, open our hearts to end exclusion, violence, and fear among all. Thank you for the gifts of this day and every day. Thank you for the gifts of this day and every day. And that is Alicia Long River, and written in 1995, a prayer that she had written. And I think about this. I think about walking and the commitment that it takes to march and to walk and to face whatever comes. That if we have a commitment, if we really have a commitment to stand, and if we are committed to the success of that stand, so that there can be social justice for everyone, then we need to look at how can we do that. How can we really serve? How can we really do the right thing? For all of the, I really see everyone as a guardian. I see us all, being sent here as guardians. And I think that it's really important that, we come to a place where we're able to recognize that, we have responsibility to be guardians of what is sacred, and life, and life force is what we need to be protecting and caring for in all our relationships. But also, I am recognizing that in this commitment, uh, you know, I'm thinking about this piece that my mentee brought up, and it's really interesting. I was like, oh, this is perfect, because it really is about the commitment to walk and to stand for what is good and true and lasting. It is about the commitment to really show up and choose to be present. And when you think about it, he says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, the providence moves to. And so I think that, right now there is a calling, a demand that we all make a stand, that everyone makes a stand to be in this conversation, in this long conversation. In my leadership course last weekend, we were talking about this, that it's as though we're really one of my students, Stephen, this this lens, this view, this training, and that if we can let go of that racist view and that racist training, and heal that, whatever it takes, as long as it takes, because it's going to take a long time to allow ourselves and to create those conversations and those ways of seeing things and those ways of doing things, are going to require effort and a new programming. So the entire culture has to respond with ability to creating new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing, and to really align with what is really going to be in the highest service and in the highest good, in order to open a healing conversation. And so I was thinking about Angela's Arian and some of her thoughts around, how are we going to do this successfully? Like, how are we going to, be able to have these conversations? Well, we're going to have to be super awkward and not do it right. And I think it's great. This is something Patrick O'Neill said. He said that, you can't do it right, so it's okay. Just like don't try to do it right, but do it. And I'm quoting a conversation that he and I had that wasn't related, but I feel as though it is related, and that we can't do it right. And if we keep feeding those different addictions of the need to do it right, the need to have it together, the need to to say the right thing or do the right, we're not going to be able to do that. But what we need to do is we do need to be in the conversation. And so I really appreciated that, what Stephen was saying about that the software can be changed. So that it's software, and that we can shapeshift it, and that we can change it. Yes, it will take great effort. Yes, it is a lifetime conversation. Yes, it is going to be hard work. Yes, should we commit to it? Yes, we should commit to it. And it makes me think of Carl Jung and what he said about we need to say an unconditional yes to life. And this is what life is doing right now. And how can I say an unconditional yes to life, and to what is required of each of us as individuals and as a collective, in order to turn things, however achingly and however uncomfortable, and however we have to look at all of our own biases and shapeshift and change and morph, and and we all have them. And so how can we look at them and agree to work on it together? I think that that's really one of the things that is important in order for us to have success in this. And also to really be looking at what are the creative solutions, and how can we look at what is it that we really need right now, in order to have some creativity and some engagement that is, really turning things in a direction of empowerment and as Leticia Nieto's book, says it's, and it's a collective book. It's been written by a group of people, but she says, the title of the book is Beyond Empowerment, Beyond Inclusion. And so how can we, stand in that place so that we can, have this vision or this goal that we can actually meet. That is something that we will actually do, that we will actually, reach out and touch hearts and touch souls and be willing to really stand for one another and stand beside one another and have one another's backs and especially in this time, what can we do to serve? I think about the universal laws of success, and the universal laws of success are by Angela Sarian, and she'd done research globally and found that she was an anthropologist, and she found that in all cultures globally, 85% of all people feel that these are the laws of success. This is how we succeed at anything. So what we can do is we can do things step by step. So what are the steps that we need to make? And we do things step by step with discipline and a discipline. If everyone can be a disciple to oneself, if everyone can be a disciple to what has meaning to them. And so how do I do things step by step? Do I, see, what it is that I would like to experience and then do what is required of me so that I can see and have excellence, right? So she says to apply a rigor that moves towards excellence. And then to practice a capacity for openness, flexibility, and resilience. So firm yet yielding. She always talked about this as kind of the bamboo theory, where it's, you're strong and yet flexible. You're strong and yet flexible. And bamboo can really bend without breaking. And so, how do we stand firm and stand for what we know is correct and do the right thing? And if we don't know what's correct, how do we ask what's correct? What's the right move for, how can I support you? How can I, love you? How can I, do what is right by you? Not by me, but how can I do the right thing by you? And one of the ways is that we can, let go of our limited views, and especially let go of our judgments and our tendency to judge and to criticize and to blame. If we can remove the judgment and the criticism and the blame, then we have an opportunity to communicate. Then we have an opportunity to create a window and then a door where we can really step through and we can meet one another. But it really requires of us that we step out of those things and come into a different conversation because we're being faced with the same thing. And so what we have to do is change now. Like our responsibility is to change ourselves, our ways of thinking, our communities in ways that will empower and create the social change that we want to see. The second one is to practice a capacity for openness, flexibility, and resilience, firm and yet yielding. The next one is to follow what has heart and meaning, to pay attention to what is inspiring. So who is inspiring for you? Who do you see, that has really stood behind something, that has really come into their power? And sometimes from those places, almost always from those places where, we have to earn our way, we have to, we're all tested in the world. Everyone is tested in the world. There's suffering and there's beauty, there's grace, and there's adversity. I really appreciate that if we follow what has heart and meaning, if we pay attention to what is inspiring, then we have something called a mentor, and we can look to that mentor. So who's the mentor for me? Who are my mentors in social justice work? Is it Brian Stevenson? Is it Malcolm X? Is it, who is it? Is it, for me, Toni Morrison had a really strong and powerful voice that opened my heart and broke my heart and opened it again, and just such a powerful voice for social justice and for Michelle Obama, in her work becoming, that we're becoming. And so I also appreciate the next, which is that we hold a high value for honesty and integrity, and that we're able to support that. And integrity means that we're going. Everyone is going in that same direction. My mind and my heart and my actions are all going in the same direction. So how can we become congruent? And how can we really restore our ability to fully become a true ally, to really hold and humble ourselves in such a way that we can hold our beloved friends and the people that we love, that are in need of this support, in whatever ways that we can give that support and that love, and that backing and that lifting, and that like the bowing to, in the Maya, in the and I honor my grandfather, Eduardo. But in the Maya, it is the in Lakesh Alaken, in Lakesh Alaken. So it's that acknowledgement of you. I see you, and I see the mystery and the creator in you, and then Alaken, and I see the mystery in you. And oftentimes when we do certain things, like we do ceremonies and things where we would honor, and you bend on your knee and you bow, you bow. There's also, a really beautiful recovery prayer that I love, which is, Creator, I offer myself to you to build with me and to do with me as you will. Relieve me of the bondage of self. So you can say like self-seek, relieve me of selfishness or self-seeking, heal my mind, cleanse my thoughts, and replace it with your thinking and with your great heart, great mystery. And, I ask that, my life will be an example of your power, your love, and your way of life, that, I can align with your way of love. May I do your will always. Thank you so much. And that's, you know, uh, you know, a really beautiful way that I like to start the day is I like to start the day on my hands and my knees, and asking the creator to help me to be that vessel of, creator, what would you have me do? And that way I can leave behind my own ideas about how to do things, and I can ask the creator, or the great mystery, or cielo, or tonantzin, or my higher power, the higher power, to really help me throughout the day, and to help me to align with what is most helpful, to serve, for the good of all. And so, another law of success is to use effective communication and timing, and to have words, heart, and language and body all align and match. And also, universal laws of success, the last one is to know how to play and have fun, and to have laughter that is connected to joy, re-energizing and loving humor. And so I think that these are ways that, and I bring this into also into my leadership course, these universal laws of success, and so that we have the discipline, that we're able to be the disciple unto ourselves, to do things step by step, to practice a capacity for openness, flexibility, and resilience, to follow what has heart and meaning, to pay. Saffron says hello. Saffron is having her commentary here. To hold a high value for honesty and integrity, to use effective communication and timing, and to know how to play and have fun, and to have laughter that is connected to joy. So we want all of these things. So how are we going to access these things? And my question is, really, how can we experience how can we experience what it is that we need to experience, so we can turn things in a more positive and beneficial direction. I wanted to close with another a thought. This is a universal prayer by Vince Milam. A universal prayer by Vince Milam. I wanted to stay with the universal, um, the humanity. So this says, Dear God of all humanity, or you can say Creator or Mystery or Tunkashala or Great Spirit, but whatever your higher power is, because we all have a prayer here, guys. Like we have a prayer. Like I have a prayer, you have a prayer, like we have a prayer. So it's not like we don't have a prayer because we do. And everyone has a prayer in their heart. And that prayer is our connection to the power that is capable of doing anything. And that power has done many, many things when asked, when connected with. So I think that there's also something important about developing a relationship with that power, because if we have that connection to that power, then we have real power. And everyone has that power. Everyone has access to that power. And so to connect with that power and then to bring that power in to create all of the change through us. So we take the actions to create the change. What are the actions that I can take personally to create the change that we want to see? But then also, how do I connect with that creator or that great mystery? This prayer is really beautiful. It says, Dear Creator, God, great mystery of all humanity, we ask that you empower us to be ambassadors of your love and wisdom to all peoples of the earth. We know that with your grace, we can disrupt the cycle of pain and suffering visited upon your children, including those who appear to be agents of hate and intolerance, but who are, in fact, victims of suffering as well. To remedy our imbalance, because it's to remedy our imbalance, we ask that you give us the strength and the courage to act as one family deserving of your mercy, so that peace and unity may be realized in our lifetimes. Creator, we're praying that peace and unity may be realized in our lifetimes. We ask this, Creator, that you will help us, that you will guide us to do this. That is a universal prayer that is by Vince Milam. And so we're asking that we'll be empowered to be ambassadors of love and wisdom, but we also know that we need to disrupt this cycle of pain and suffering so that there can be social change, the social change that is so desperately needed at this time. And then one final thing is do everything with a mind that lets go. Do not expect any praise or reward. If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you will know complete peace and freedom. Your struggles with the world will have come to an end. And so, as much as we need to engage, we also need to be willing and able to let go into that power that has the power to do all things. So we take the action, and we are connected to the greater power that allows us to express a greater power into the world that can co-create that change. So what are my solutions? What are the solutions that I've thought of? And blessings, and stay very safe in your marches and your protests, in these sacred walks, this prayer that we're all in together. Thank you. I will see you on Friday. And on Friday, I have there is a conversation. This will be a conversation for East and West. So Friday, I will not be doing my talk here on YouTube, but there is a talk that I'm giving for East and West. And so you can look that up, and I would welcome you to join us. It is about comfort in the time of Corona, but it's also about discomfort and how we need to have some of that. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you there if that's of interest. Have a beautiful evening. Stay safe. Stay safe and stay strong.